he instinctively grabs the back of his leg. So it looks like he has what, some sort of a hamstring injury? But then he changes position and starts grabbing his lower leg. Those are two completely different parts of your leg. Yeah, okay, Daniel. And then the acting afterwards, he's gonna take off his helmet and slam it on the ground. Dang it! I wish I wasn't injured! Welcome back, disgruntled sports fans. Another week, another scripted top 10. We're gonna start the list in the dirty South, where the dirty birds are about to get punched in the mouth. The pass gets completed to Jackson Smith-Njigba. Now look at number 24 of the Falcons. He's right there to make a tackle. Everybody pay close attention to his tackling technique. And Jackson Smith-Njigba takes it in. Now let's take another look at that tackle. This defensive back for the Falcons should be trying to jump on Jackson Smith's back and ride him to the ground. Jump on him. Grab hold of his shoulder and under his arm and use your body weight to ride him to the ground. But no, instead, he does this. He just touches the back of his arm, doesn't actually try and grab him at all, immediately lets go and starts going through the motions to fall down and roll. Literally no reason you should have fell down and had to roll right there. You touched his arm and then you fell down? So that's one of the most ridiculous tackle attempts you're gonna see in this entire video. And we're just getting started. So now we take the list to Lambeau Field. We got a division battle between the Packers and the Bears. It's 4th down and 1, and on this play, the game is on the line. Caleb Williams is getting ready to throw this pass, and I want to point out that the Bears are losing by a touchdown. There's only 24 seconds left, and it is 4th and 1. That means if Caleb Williams does not complete this pass for a first down, the Bears are going to lose. The game will be over. Looks like he's just about ready to throw. He's got a man open right here. Number 2 is being left uncovered and will easily have the first down. It looks like that is who Caleb Williams is going to throw to. But wait, instead, he's going to throw it right to that Packers defender. Give his tight end no chance at all at making the catch. And the game is over. Packers win, Bears lose. You can thank Caleb Williams for throwing the game-ending interception on purpose. Back in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and the early 2000s, doinks were rare. You maybe saw 1 or 2 in an entire season. But now, you see doinks happening nearly every week, sometimes multiple times in a week. This is the smoking gun proof that these kicks are being manipulated by technology. To the best of my knowledge, this is doink number 21 on the season.
Return of the doink. Return of the doink, return of the doink, another ball hits the pole, return of the doink, return of the doink, return of the doink, another ball hits the pole.
So this next spot on the list requires a little bit of explanation. The Raiders are losing by 10 points at this point in the game. Only 16 seconds left to go, so the Raiders have no shot at winning this game. But there is still money on the line and the point spread in this game, Denver is favored by 8.5 points. So that means Denver winning by 10 points, as long as they don't allow a field goal or a touchdown in this final 16 seconds. Anyone who bet on the Broncos to cover the 8.5 points is going to get paid. But this is the National Fixed League. And if you bet on this league, you're betting on entertainment. And in the world of entertainment, anything can happen. Like Raiders backup QB gonna find a way to put points on the board in the final seconds? But no, he completes the ball inbounds to his receiver, and the Raiders don't have any timeouts left. Broncos down the Raiders player, and that's it. Game over. With only 9 seconds left, the Raiders cannot stop the clock. But the Broncos player, number 22, is going to lay on top of the Raiders player just long enough that it draws a defensive delay of game penalty. Now, this is a rare penalty that you hardly ever see, and there's no reason why that Broncos player should be laying on the Raiders player like that, and no reason why at this point in the game that the refs should be throwing a flag for defensive delay of game. But what it does is it sets up the Raiders for a last-second field goal opportunity. And they can't even win the game with this last-second field goal, but what they can do is beat any of the sports bettors who bet on the Broncos to cover the 8.5-point spread half points, which causes this moron, Dave Portnoy, to throw a temper tantrum / hissy fit.
That's the worst beat of all time. And you have to investigate the Raiders. Investigate the Raiders. What are they doing? What the? That's the worst beat of all time. That is cheating. Pete Carroll should be in prison. Prison for Pete Carroll.
So obviously, this genius just lost a bunch of money gambling on sports entertainment. And then he just now figured out that the NFL is fixed and phony, but he doesn't understand how it works. So he's like, oh, the Raiders need to be investigated. Oh, Pete Carroll should be in prison. It's like he doesn't understand that all the NFL teams are playing pretend football. All the players are in on the fix, not just the Raiders. What a moron. Joe Burrow and the Bengals were beating the Bills this entire game until late in the fourth quarter. Joe Burrow has a catastrophic meltdown and starts turning the ball over, losing the game. Right here, he lobs the ball to a linebacker standing right in front of him, and then Joe proceeds to go for a tackle attempt, except the attempt part doesn't go so well when he grabs hold of his leg and then immediately lets him go. Now, this is a linebacker I want to point out, and that right there is Ja'Marr Chase behind him. And Chase is one of the fastest wide receivers in the league. But for whatever reason, he just can't catch the linebacker. So, linebacker number 47 takes it all the way to the house. Ja'Marr Chase, one of the fastest players in the league, can't catch him and run him down? Okay. So here we have the world champion Philadelphia Eagles, and they are led by MVP of the Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts. But in this game, they're looking more like jobbers, and Jalen Hurts is looking more like a backup quarterback. He threw 4 interceptions in this game. All of them looked terrible. This one is extra special though, and the reason why, Not only does he throw the ball into double coverage and give his receiver zero shot at making the play, this interception is extra special for another reason. And what is that reason? Well, watch this Chargers player start returning the ball after he's intercepted it. And then this Eagles player comes over and knocks the ball loose. So now we have an interception and a fumble. And the fumble gets recovered by none other than Jalen Hurts. You guys, imagine that. Jalen Hurts throws an interception, and somehow, some way, he has the ball in his hands again. But then, he fumbles it! What? And the Chargers recover. You gotta be kidding me. So that means on this play, Jalen Hurts threw an interception and fumbled it on the same play. He turned it over twice on the same play. I don't think I've ever seen anyone turn the ball over twice on the same play before. This play right here, man, is some extra phony rigoroni with a side of bologna. So the Titans are going to hand off the football to running back Pollard. He's got good blocking on this play. Now I want to point out one guy who isn't being blocked is number 33. How about that? Number 33 of all the numbers. So he's the guy being left unblocked. He's the one that's going to need to make this tackle. But we're going to pay close attention as number 33 purposely runs into the back of his own player and falls down. Now this is going to set Pollard free. There's Pollard right there. That is going to open up the hole that he needs to bust this loose. So number 33 was left unblocked, but he went ahead and took himself out of the play by running into his own man. So now this Browns player right here is the last chance for the Browns to make a tackle and save this play from being a touchdown. And it looks like he's about to get blocked. But the block is terrible, and so he still has a shot to make this tackle right here. And he reaches out and actually grabs Pollard for a split second, only to let him go and decide to go down for some sweet feet action instead. Gonna go for his feet rather than wrap him up and make the tackle. I wonder how that's gonna work out. Didn't work out too well because now he's laying on his face and Pollard's about to take this ball to the house. There's one last Browns player back there, and if you pay close attention, he's about to run right into the back of that referee. Yep. Gets blocked and tripped up by the referee, so he won't even get to make a tackle attempt. And Pollard scores! Wow, that Browns defense was really after him on that play, huh? So now we head to the Meadowlands, where the Jets only scored one touchdown in this entire game, and it happens to be one of the most phony touchdowns of the entire week. They take this kickoff, and the first Dolphins player comes running up, doesn't make any sort of tackle attempt, and starts losing his footing for no reason. The second Dolphins player, he comes running up, and he doesn't make any sort of tackle attempt either. Now this third Dolphins player, number 51, he's actually going to make a tackle attempt. The problem is, he's going to go for some of that sweet feet action and completely whiff. So now, it seems there's only one man left to beat, and oh boy, it's the kicker. And as we all know, kickers are ridiculously terrible at tackling. You can never ask a kicker to make a tackle because if you do, they do stuff like this. Way to go, kicker! He could go all the way. And now it looks like there's two Dolphins players who might be able to run this guy down and save this from being a touchdown. This Dolphins player coming in from the back. Maybe he can bust the ball out of his hands at the last second. So he dives, going for some sweet feet action. Oh, but he whiffs as well. And the Jets take it all the way into the end zone for a touchdown. A ridiculous touchdown. And that brings us to the number one most scripted play of the week. And it has to be the season-ending injury to Daniel Jones, who went down in this game without being touched. Here it is, Daniel Jones gonna back up, gonna plant his feet, gonna throw the ball, and then watch very closely as he nice and safely takes a knee, then goes to his butt, cushions his fall with his hands. Didn't look too bad at all, right? Nothing that should end your season, right? But watch. He instinctively grabs the back of his leg. So it looks like he has what? Some sort of a hamstring injury? But then he changes position and starts grabbing his lower leg. Bro, you were grabbing your hamstring, and then you completely switched to the lower leg. Those are two completely different parts of your leg. So one more time, if we watch the feet, there's nothing here that looks like he should be injuring himself. He plants, twists as he throws. I don't see anything that would cause a season-ending injury so far. And then he nice and softly goes to his knee first, then his butt, cushions himself with his hands. Yeah, there's nothing about that should cause an injury at all. And then the biggest giveaway, he goes straight to the hamstring. If you are injured, you're instinctively going to grab the part of your body that's injured, right? So it's a hamstring injury. No, wait. No, it's an Achilles injury. So he's out for the season with an Achilles injury on a no contact injury, where he immediately grabbed his hamstring first after he fell nice and softly on his butt. Yeah, okay, Daniel. And then the acting afterwards, he's gonna take off his helmet and slam it on the ground. Dang it! I wish I wasn't injured! Wah! I wanted to go to the playoffs! I was having such a good season! Wah! Sorry, Colts fans. This is how your season ends. Your quarterback is now out for the season, and apparently the Colts have signed 44-year-old Philip Rivers. Yes, the new oldest player in the league is now Philip Rivers, who apparently was signed by the Colts in the wake of Daniel Jones' season-ending injury. Aaron Rodgers was the oldest player in the league, but with the return of Philip Rivers, there is now a 44-year-old man playing professional football. Philip Rivers from the San Diego Chargers. Remember that? Wow, seems like a lifetime ago. And that, my friends, is your number one most scripted play of the week. Please like, please share, please subscribe, and I will see all of you in the next video. Peace.